Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Paulie Eyes of Carbondale, the official coaches show of Saluki Athletics. Now, here is the voice of the Salukis, Luke Martin.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Paulie Eyes of Carbondale. Man, I'm just glad I get to see this person smile a lot here over the last couple weeks. Head Coach Jen Sewell joins us again after a weekend sweep of the Bradley Braves, which no team in the Valley was able to do that against Bradley. They have been a really pesky team this year, Coach Sewell. So for your group to have 3 grit-out wins against Bradley, the scores may look like maybe they didn't cause a lot of heartache, but I know all 3 games sure made you a little nerve-wracking there in the dugout.
Yeah, down in all 3 games at some point, and I think we talked about it going in, during, and coming out. Like, they are well coached. They were standing in the right spot, offensively prepared. Probably the deepest pitching staff that's not getting a lot of recognition right now. Yeah. And really gave us a hard time. And to get out of there with 3 wins, I think even our players were saying how much improved they are, and they're going to be a real problem. So.
It's getting to that point, Coach Sewell, when you're watching your team play, and even when you're down on the scoreboard and it's getting late, where there's that internal confidence of, we're all right.
Yeah.
Like, the big inning is coming. I know Emily Williams with just 2 massive games in terms of hits, the Grand Slam, obviously, in Game 2, and then obviously another massive home run in the Sunday finale. But before we get to Emily, do you sense that this is a team that's now, regardless of when you're getting at in the game, that there's that internal confidence and belief that they're going to find a way to finish the job?
Yeah, I think in the last probably 3 weeks is when they have felt it, and just a real sense of calm about it. I think the only time that I really pushed on them was after Friday night. I thought we were a little bit flat, and I think, but they're willing to take that and do something about it. And I said, hey, I don't think we came out here totally understanding and respecting, and they were like, no, we got it, we get it, and they can make some of those instant changes. I don't think they meant to be flat. I think it was a product of a lot of games and a lot of days, but and Tuesday and Wednesday were very emotional for us, and physical as well. So I think they're willing to take that kind of critique, and then Saturday and Sunday really came out with I think a patience to really work the plan is what I would say. It doesn't have to be right away in the first.
To be able, as you talk about, look, Bradley no doubt deserved a lot of the attention what you did on the weekend, but don't forget you were able to go to Missouri State and win, and then, of course, the next day go to Mizzou and find a way to win games. Really important. Of course, Missouri State is huge just because that's within your league, but to be able to go on the road, to beat an SEC team, one that I know not technically in the state because we're in Illinois, but a regional SEC school, that's a huge check mark for the program to be able to check off that list.
Yeah, I think people forget, too. I don't know the last time we swept Mo State. We did not sweep them last year, in a 44-11 year. They have been, we have been at each other for years and have played and scratched and clawed each other. And then to go into the Mizzou game, the first time through, McCann handled us. And the thing besides the Bradley sweep, I think, for me, was to go up against McCann the first time through. And probably that's the most swings and misses we've handled in a long time. And then to come right back the second time through and put a lot of barrels on a lot of balls. And I was just totally impressed, pitching-wise and hitting-wise, and even defensively, we just did the basics really well. And there was nothing flashy about that game other than Emily Williams' home run. Everybody just did their job, and I think that's what's really been rolling lately, is not pressing outside of what you need to do. I mean, you don't have to do more right now. Just do your job. So
we have Kaytee Dahlstrom coming on the show here today, and obviously her roommate Sage is going to come on as well. 2 really good personalities I know our fans will enjoy to hear from, but let's start with Kaytee. Expectation on her coming into the year, there were many that were like, hey, this can be another freshman arm that can be someone rely on and count on. What has she shown really over the last week? Career high in strikeouts against Bradley with 8. Of course, the Missouri start we spotlight on Thursday with you on the show was big. where is she at in her progression this year, and what type of role she can continue to fill?
Yeah, I think everybody, wanted her out there right away doing what Kaytee does. And obviously, when you're a strikeout pitcher, you have an electric arm, you have talent, you know. I think early in the season, though, with that tough schedule, it was hard to get the swings and misses that she was used to. But I think we've really just made a plan with her to kind of settle her down. But then to come out in that SEC, I liked when we handed her the ball, she wasn't surprised. And she said, I got this. Like, I'm good. And I visited with her on the mound in the second or third, and I said, hey, typically about this time in the game, you've needed to make some adjustments. I want to see you on this TV make a big adjustment. And she came right back another time through the lineup and really got a chance to go to Mac late in the game, which is what we've been looking for. But I really saw her competitive side, and she kept telling me, you know, I'm not that eat 'em up type starter. I'm not. I was like, yeah, you are. You know, you don't get here without, it's just, it needed to come out, I think, in her personality. And you need a little bit of an alter ego when you're going to go out there and shove. So I think she kind of tapped into her other person. She's a real sweet, funny, goofy type. And I think she really got into her, like, competitive personality that night.
Not to so much specify it and specifically talk about Kaytee, but there's so much, it can be almost cliche how people talk about, oh, once the weather gets hotter, the bats will come around.
Yeah.
But maybe so specifically for her, how can warmer weather with how she pitches really impact her stuff where, yes, now the year's progressing, she's getting more experience. That's also why she's getting better.
Yeah.
But specifically with her, I know it seems like, man, once the weather is heating up, her stuff is just getting better too.
Yeah, and everybody, you know, the Cali kid thing, you know, she's a West Coaster, but she has a very, like, relaxed, easy soul. You know, she doesn't get too over excited about anything. But part of throwing that pitch that she has and is the ability for some air to get underneath it. And it's hard to see what she does inside because she's not getting the physics that she wants. But I think lately she's been adjusting as they're adjusting to her. And it's just been, I think I told Bucky or somebody, we give her a little bite of the sandwich and then we just keep giving her more until it was like Wednesday night, she was ready to take down the whole hamburger, you know. And I think slowly just grabbing adjustments and understanding, like, I just can't do the same thing over and over again. And the crazy part about the Mizzou game is she got through most of that game without showing any other pitches. I mean, she really lived on that pitch. But I think the other day in her start, she was using everything, and that's when she's going to be really special. But just giving her the easy tidbits, and then all of a sudden she was ready for the hard stuff.
Sage Grann was a freshman that maybe not necessarily right out of the chute expected to play a huge role for this team. Injuries happen, things shift. She's now been someone that was in your infield, now back in the outfield, which she'll describe here on the show today, and we'll dive into her with. What's allowed her to be ready for the moment as well, Coach Sewell?
I think Sage Grann is Sage Grann. I mean, she's another just does not ride the emotional roller coaster. I mean, does not buy into it at all. And that's one thing I can appreciate. She's kind of stubborn in that, stubborn in a really good way. There's never a high and a low with her. Came from an excellent club team where she was coached very well. So I think with the injury to Blomenkamp, she was one that we needed to get out there. We just couldn't find the at-bats for her at times. And played a little first too, but I think now with the consistency again of I know I'm going to go out there, I'm prepared for my at bats. Doesn't get overly caught up in anything. Doesn't worry about the strikeouts. Can strike out and come right back. But I just think it's important to have some people on the team that just don't ride the roller coaster. She's not going to be your energy like an Emma Austin, like a huge spark plug. She's going to be the kid that, like, yeah, I doubled and I was expecting to do that. So,
how big of a role has Amanda Knutson played for this team? And, you know, so much because of, I don't want to say she gets overlooked a lot,
100%.
but that seems to be Amanda is starting to be someone that I think deserves more attention and recognition for what she does.
Well, I think I looked at her last 18 games, and she's like over 3 something over her last 18 games. I mean, just, and what people don't see is the complete change of position for her. She was never, I don't think, had seen third base. Again, another injury situation. And just went over there and made some mistakes early, and she had 2 choices: learn from it and get better, or get nervous about it and get worse. And that she's gotten better with every game. I think the position is starting to really come to her, and as it's done that offensively, her offense has come to her. She's pound for pound another, doesn't look that imposing, but can get out of the park, and has really learned how to manage at bats this year. Has taken some huge walks to turn that lineup over.
How has she helped a lot of the freshmen this year, too, for someone who, of course, was in that role and necessarily didn't get a chance to play a ton, but now she's seeing freshmen, whether it's Sage, whomever, she's able to really bring them along, it seems like, and has a good relationship with them.
Yeah, I'd have to look at what game time she saw yet last year. She did very well in the games that she saw, but her and Aaron Lee were battling it out at second base. And you just saw the future last year in Amanda Knudsen. And, you know, you never want people to get hurt, but I was kind of excited that she was going to get her turn, because I think she just works. And she, last year, I think she really struggled to find, like, where she fit in that freshman class. Obviously, the honors were going elsewhere and the publicity and things like that. But her and Kiana have really come out in their sophomore seasons and not been sophomores. So I can really, I told him in the locker room on Sunday, I was like, I don't think you guys understand what Amanda Knudsen is doing, like, and is not getting the pub at all. So
your team, of course, right now sitting in first place in the league at 16-1. Big weekend with Northern Iowa, which anytime you see UNI on the schedule, you know it's going to be 2 teams where you can throw out records, but you never want to throw out the records because the records are normally good between these 2 programs. To go on the road, it can always be a challenge there in Cedar Falls. What specifically this year will be the challenge with Northern Iowa on the road?
Yeah, I think just readjusting to the fact that a lot of our kids haven't been there, you know, don't know, and sometimes that's a good thing. I want us to play within ourselves, I think, at Northern Iowa. I think that's one thing we've done all year, has been consistent about how we've approached each game. You know, I told him the other day, I was like, people are going to start to talk to you about the end of the year, and we're not there yet, you know, and you've done a good job being where your feet are. And if you can really ignore people talking about, oh, you know, here's this thing wrapped up in a bow, it's not. And I tell them all the time, we will not win a conference championship at Northern Iowa this weekend. It cannot be won. So you have to take Friday, Saturday, and Sunday one game at a time. And I think the cool part is none of our staff really have been there. So we get to sort of reset and find a new place. It's just a great challenge. I told him it's a great challenge for us. Like let's just get in there and do it. So
a lot of it is on you and the staff. And I know you want to give credit to your players, but what has allowed this team that necessarily hasn't had a ton of shared experience prior to this year, allowed them to be in the position where they treat the weekends like you just described, where it is, hey, we're taking it seriously. We're not looking at it as, hey, we're winning a conference championship today. It's just, no, it's the next game. It's not being disrespectful to whomever that is. It's treating that next opportunity like, hey, the reason it's big is because it's our next opportunity.
Yeah, well, I think that we keep talking about the early season, but we have been 1-12. Like, you know, what people perceived as to be the lowest point was never our lowest point. It was just us trying to battle through what we knew. We talked about it openly. We don't hide from the discussion. You know, we don't hide from, I think a lot of teams are like, oh, I would never talk about the championship. I would never talk about a losing streak. We're just pretty open with each other and like, hey, we've been to the bottom and now we feel like we've been to the top and nothing's been decided. So, you know, it's like when you feel good, and when you feel bad. But the one thing that we can do is go out and take care of the next game.
This is a hard question for me to ask you, but and not necessarily so much that. It's easy to ask questions. Harder maybe sometimes to come with the answers. But you, as you said, you have seen this team at the lowest and you've seen it at the highest. But what gives you the internal belief that there is still a high bar to be reached, that you've not to say there's teams that peak early, but where you believe like, hey, like we know we're playing well, but I still know there's multiple gears where this team can go here over the next couple
I think
weeks.
that's the part that surprised me about this weekend and just the compilation of work over the last week. Like, man, that game, that week, we couldn't have had that week if we tried in the first 3 weeks.
Yes.
I mean, we were just holding on to the little things, at that point. But I think that was what was so impressive. But sometimes in practice, we're still, this team is still asking for more time, more film, more work, more. There's sort of this inner never satisfied about them that I really like. And I think it feeds from the top down, and it feeds from, players getting injured and the next player stepping up and saying, it's just an unspoken thing, like, I'm next, we're going to go, let's just get on with it. And I think this club, more than anybody, has learned how to really enjoy themselves on the road and at home and in the clubhouse, and you can tell when they're having a good time. And some teams winning is not a good time. It's about, goofing around or being, they can do all of that and win and have a great time. So.
Well, as I was describing to you before, being able to watch the finale on Sunday in person at Charlotte West, but not that any day at Charlotte West is not a great crowd, but Saturday's crowd was really, really special there, which they were treated to just an outstanding game between the two teams. I don't want to make sure we become numb to that, and I don't ask you about what it means for the program to have those type of days. So I want to ask you again on your way out of what that meant, and especially for your group to just see the support and the level of support you get here.
Yeah, and we talked about it in Saturday, and people were just flooding in. And I gave them the lineup, and I said, I want you to understand what a privilege this is to do this in front of a crowd like this. Like, these fans have been amazing, and they were great when we were 1-12, and they're right back in it when we're not. So I think our team is just humbled by it. Our program is just humbled by it. Like, how could it get any bigger and better? And it just continues with the fan base, and we get messages from all over the country. Like, we watched the game. It was awesome. They love Mike Trude and Kate and all of that. And when it's on board like that, it's an energy that you can't really describe. And when you're down 1-0 in the fourth or whatever, and that home run goes out and it just erupts like that, those are feelings I want everybody to experience in our program. So.
And no doubt they've been experiencing. And the reason is because you're also hitting the ball out of the park too.
Sometimes I'm like, that would have. I think I hit one in my career. What's that like? Like, what is that like
trust
to
me,
just crush one?
I have asked myself plenty of times, and I always go, there's a reason you have the headset on, and I get to interview you.
Just like, I just want to know, like, what's that like to come up in a big moment, just take it, just crush it. Like, it's just awesome.
Well, the good news is you hope, and because of what you did this past weekend, it makes the next opportunity even bigger.
Yeah.
And the more you keep doing that, the bigger the moments get. Coach Sewell, appreciate the time. Enjoy the bus ride over to Cedar Falls, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, Luke.
Once again, that was head coach Jen Sewell. We'll be back here on Inside Saluki Athletics. We'll come back with one of those freshmen. Kaytee Dahlstrom is our guest when we return. We welcome everybody back to Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Poly Eyes of Carbondale. We just had the head coach, Jen Sewell, on the show. Now we get to welcome in one of the true stars of the last week. Kaytee Dahlstrom joins us, freshman pitcher. Kaytee, welcome to the show. How's life been with the Salukis here this spring?
Honestly, it's been pretty good. Definitely better than I expected. Beginning was kind of rough, just a little nervous and all that, trying to get used to everything. But since we've been here for quite a long time now, I think it's gone pretty good. Well,
you mentioned the start, right? That's been a really common talking point on the show this year with your teammates and Coach Sewell of a lot of learning lessons early, and probably even more so for you as a freshman. Describe not getting off to the best of starts as a team, but how did everyone stick together, Kaytee? What for you was so impressive about what this team was able to do?
I don't know. I just feel like ever since we just started bonding really nice, and just got to know each other a lot better, from being with each other in the hotel rooms and doing all these team things. That definitely helped a lot for us, on the field as well. Practice has gotten better. I just feel like we found our click as a team, and it's obviously showing a lot now.
And some of that too, Kaytee, is of course really good competition early.
Yeah.
What were those experiences like for you as a freshman, kind of being thrust into some really big roles early on the season? How did you handle it to the point where now it's really helping you, where you can go out against Mizzou, go out this weekend against Bradley, and perform really at your best?
Yeah, I definitely think that it was really good practice for me, especially these SEC teams, compared to travel ball, that's totally different, and it was a really big wow, kind of scary moment, but it definitely helped my nervousness, I guess, knowing that we could still fight back, you know what I mean?
Look, there's always optimism, I believe, heading to a year around Saluki Softball because of the standards that have been set and the expectation level to win. And Coach Sewell, you were one of them, young freshman coming in that everyone was excited to see come to fruition and see play here. One, how do you handle that type of level of expectation? And two, once you're in the year and you're going through it and you're learning, who are some individuals that you've really leaned on to help you through the early portion of the season to now get you to this point?
Well, coming in with super high expectations was kind of hard because I'm going to college and I have all these expectations and I'm oh gosh, but I couldn't think about it too much or else it would bring my confidence down, and I'd just be thinking about that and not my pitching and how I usually am. But I would say probably Kiana. She's helped me a lot, especially she's the only returner pitcher, and she was here last year, and she knows what she's doing, and she helped a lot. And if I'm down or something, she'll just pick me right back up. And yeah, I would say she's probably my number one supporter.
You were hinting at early, yes, the schedule is no doubt daunting, but when you're on the road, you get the travel, you get the time in the hotel, the time on the bus, time during delays, whatever the case may be, there is a lot of time around your team. How did you utilize that time to really get to know your teammates, and how did all that turn to be a really big positive when you go on the road, when you're tested by tough teams, but when you are secluded, it's just you and the team? How does that help build this group to become closer together like it has, Kaytee, as you've really described?
I feel all of us just talk about random stuff and just bringing conversation, because us freshmen were pretty shy at first, and we didn't we were scared of the older girls, but just little conversations, funny conversations, doing each other's hair, getting ready together, I feel that really helped us click also. And then just having fun, realizing just have fun.
Having fun is such a big part of it, and what helps is winning. No doubt cures all of it. when you think of this ride that all of you have been on another weekend sweep that's so hard to do, all were really competitive games against Bradley this past weekend. You get the midweek wins against Missouri State and Mizzou. What's the most important thing, Kaytee, right now that this team is doing well that's allowed this team to be successful?
Comebacks on offense have been really, really good, but also just getting those first 2-3 innings for pitching, not letting the other team score, just keeping them on their toes. But our offense has been really well.
You talked obviously about McDowell being such a huge piece in helping you. Let's talk about Anna Carter. We had Anna on last week, and just one of the best personalities I really think you can be around. For her to be your catcher, yes, the personality piece no doubt is important, but that relationship factor is massive from a pitcher to a catcher. What do you enjoy most about working with Anna? Where has she helped you out the most this year?
I honestly think Anna is a super good catcher, and she asked me a couple weeks ago what she needs to do to help me calm down, or if I'm struggling or whatever, and I told her to just be completely honest with me. And so she's definitely real. If I'm doing something wrong, she won't baby whatever she's trying to say. She'll just tell me straight up, and I think that helps a lot. And her just being funny all the time makes me laugh. She's just a great catcher, and yeah.
I'm sure there's probably some that maybe not necessarily we can share here on the show publicly, but what's maybe the most funniest thing that you can share around Anna that really encompasses those that can't be around her every day? It could just be something small, so minute, but yet that describes who you get to see each and every day.
Her dancing. I just can't. In the locker room, she'll just bust out some moves, and I just think it's so funny. And, yeah. She makes a lot of really good jokes as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
She's...
Seeing her in the office from time to time, she can crack some good jokes. So there's no doubt she's got some great material. And I think if there was ever, those open mic nights, where you can just come up to, she'd be really good at that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, on the spot.
We're going to have to get Anna Carter to do that at some point. Maybe at some point we can film it. You look through the history, Kaytee, of this program. Mm-hmm. There's always been classes that have stuck together, that have grown together, and over the time you see those teams typically be the best in program history. And no doubt last year's team was a great example of that. When you think of this group for you collectively as freshmen, I know in a way it's a different day and age in college athletics with the transfer portal, all these things coming and going. But what do you enjoy about this freshman class for you guys collectively as a group that gives you hope that this can be a group that can be yet another one of those classes that stick together, keep building, and moving Saluki softball even higher than where it has been?
Yes, there's some differences in each of us, but at the same time, we all have, at least, 5 things in common, and, we like to joke around, and, nobody takes it seriously, and I think that's, a really good, trait to have. And we all work together if there's something going on, especially us being freshmen new to the team. Some people will ask the older girls and then they'll relay it back to all of us freshmen. So we just have really good communication with each other, and I definitely think that all of us could stick together for the rest of the 4 years.
Of course, you have been such a key fixture within that circle on the softball diamond, but also one of your freshman counterparts, Emma Gibson, has been huge as well. Where have you seen Emma improve throughout the year, and how often do both of you really lean on each other, whether it's just trying to talk each other through some of those freshman year woes at times you can go through? Because right now there's definitely been some highs for both of you in recent weeks.
I think I started seeing her improve a lot against Auburn. She did pretty good in the fall, but I think, I don't know, something just clicked, and when she pitched against Auburn, our first tournament, she did so well. And every time I go out, she's honestly like my biggest hype person because like we're in it together. We're both freshmen, and we're doing pretty good as a group or as a staff or whatever. But yeah, we do help each other a lot, even in practices and all that. And when we go back to the dorm, we'll just like start talking about how we were feeling and just stuff like that. So yeah, we do connect really well too.
Well, we have Sage coming on after you here on the show today. She's had some really big at-bats, some really key hits in some big-time games this year for this group. What do you believe has allowed her, again, as a freshman, to come in this year and perform at the level that she has?
I think the older girls definitely have something to do with it. And her parents are pretty on her about softball and like going to get extra work. But at the same time, I feel like she just like is herself. Like she's in like a little box, and she's been doing so good. And her being my roommate, like I don't know, she's been doing so good, and I can't stop talking about it. And after every game, I'm like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. But yeah, I think her parents might have something to do with it, but also like herself. Like she's just been really like locked in and trying to get better for herself, and obviously it's paying off on the field because she's been doing really good.
Been doing good. You've been doing outstanding as well. Kaytee, before we let you go, want to ask you about Coach Sewell. You know, been able to build a really good relationship with her my last 2 years here, and you know, it's very easy when you have that expectation bar so high, and when the record is what the record was through the first 3 weeks of the season, to really kill a team in terms of confidence level, and the year could just be like, well, this year is lost. That did not happen. What do you credit most with Coach Sewell, this staff, of still believing in all of you to now, no doubt it has flipped, and all of you are embracing that target that you know you've had on your back since the very first game of the year?
Yeah, I, like, beginning of the season, she was saying, like, this is basically a whole new team, but she honestly had no doubt, like, that we were going to click. She had a lot of faith in us. The whole staff did. She just kept trying her hardest to help us click and come together as a team. She's a really good coach, and we have a really good staff. But, yeah, just us knowing that they believe in us made us feel a lot better because we lost a lot of people last year. So, yeah, I just feel like she had a lot of faith in us, and that's felt pretty good for us.
Now, has the California girl been able to fall in love with Little Egypt and Southern Illinois and this area? Have you fallen in love with it, or is it still like, I'm still a Cali girl?
No, I definitely have fallen in love with it. Maybe not so much when it's snowing and very cold, but other than that, I really love it here. It kind of just honestly does remind me of home because it's so small.
Yeah.
I'm from a small town, and yeah, I really do like it here, and I'm very happy I made this decision.
I'll tell you what, Kaytee, I'm sure you have been told about really good environments at Charlotte West, and the one you pitched in over the weekend, man, that place was packed. I mean,
yes.
Can you just hint at what that meant to be able, as a freshman? I mean, you've been in, obviously, an SEC environment earlier in the week in Mizzou and early on in the year, all of that, but there are very few environments that can really match what you were able to pitch in over the weekend.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see our stands just full of people, and I just it felt really good to like know that I have like so many like people from outside of the community to come watch, and just me showing out like made me feel a lot better because like I don't know, I feel like I would have been kind of like embarrassed, I guess, if I didn't do as good because there was so many people, so many sports teams as well.
Yeah.
And I'm just really glad that everyone got to see who I really am.
No doubt.
Pitcher.
And a career high, 8 strikeouts for you, yet, hey, that's just another mark that you can try to surpass here as we get closer to the end of the season. Kaytee Dahlstrom, thanks so much for taking time coming on the show. Congrats on it's really been fun to watch you out there, but I know the best softball is yet to come for you and the team. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Kaytee.
Thank you.
Once again, that was Kaytee Dahlstrom. When we come back, we're going to be joined by her roommate, Sage Grann. This is Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Poly Eyes of Carbondale. Here to close out the show this afternoon on Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Poly Eyes of Carbondale. It's, I guess, the better half of the roommate situation.
Definitely.
You know,
Yeah.
Kaytee Dahlstrom has gone by. Sage Grann now joins us, one of the Impact newcomers and freshmen for head coach Jen Sewell this year. Sage, thanks so much for the time coming on the show.
Of course.
What a fun weekend. Look, I mean, when you win all 3 games, it probably doesn't matter whether at home, on the road, neutral, regardless. That makes feelings really good. Just what's been the key for everyone on this team to just really be clicking right now? Because it appears that this team is really starting to mold and come together.
Yeah. I mean, I think our team chemistry has just gotten so much better. We're playing better as a team. We're not making as many errors, not many mental errors. I mean, when somebody gets on base, we score them. I mean, you'll look at the scoreboard, and us and the other team have about the same hits, but we always have more runs. So I think that we just get on base, and whenever we do get on base, we score. So.
And getting on base and getting those timely hits. I mean, Emily Williams, I mean,
Yes.
just outstanding over the weekend. No doubt deserving of the honors that she picked up this week.
Absolutely.
We had her on the show a couple weeks ago. As a freshman, when you get a time to whether pick her brain to really see what makes her tick, what have you picked up from her this year that's really helped you, that you've tried to embody?
You know, she struggled the first game against Bradley. She had mentioned it was her first game without a hit or an RBI. So she was struggling with that. But, you know, I went to the field on Saturday, and I went out to go hit early like I usually do, and she's there. She's always getting extra work in, always talking to the coaches, figuring out what's wrong with her swing, and just always trying to improve.
You look at yourself as a freshman year. What would you say has been the overwhelming positive, Sage? Right? I'm really proud of what I've done to this point and what I've showed.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the beginning of the season, I wasn't playing. We had Malian left, but unfortunately she did get hurt. So I had to take that role. I had to step up, and I had to be the best player I could be. There was nobody else that I could compete against Charlie and stuff. And, I mean, me and her, we work great together. We're great friends and stuff. But, you know, I just got to keep working, and I just got to keep hitting and being my best self that I know. I got to set these expectations. So.
You mentioned setting those expectations for yourself. We all, I think, would love to think that we have extremely high expectations internally. When you were coming to SIU and going into this spring, what were, like, initial expectations that you had for yourself, and what the expectation you were holding yourself to?
Yeah, so I didn't know if I was going to play. I mean, freshman year, not many freshmen play. I talked to Amanda Knutson from last year. She didn't play much, so, like, I knew what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to get too much playing time. But, I mean, coming in, I'm just staying positive. I was helping my team. I was vocal. I was cheering them on. I was doing the best I can. And then whenever Malia got hurt, I mean, I stepped up, and I just did my best to keep my spot and just keep working. So.
You mentioned, though, you have to be ready for whenever that time comes.
Yes.
Can you even put in the words or describe to Saluki Nation and fans of the work that it takes to be ready for that moment? You know, everyone sees what a game day is like, but even when you're not getting the reps, take them through of what your weekly progression was like, what your daily progression is, and how much time you spend in getting extra time to hit, et cetera, throughout a week.
You know, you could never be ready for that moment. It could be at any time. You can be called in to pinch hit, and you'll never know. Sometimes you'll be asked to get warmed up, and sometimes you won't. So you honestly can never be ready for that moment. You just always got to be mentally prepared, and just you got to know that you're going to do your best, and Jen trusts you because she's putting you in the game. But you got to trust your mechanics. I mean, all week you have practice, we have weights, we're getting stronger. You got to trust your mechanics and know that, like, she put you in the game for a reason, and you're gonna be the best you can. You're gonna get a hit. You're gonna hit the ball. You're gonna get an RBI, sac fly, anything. You're just gonna be the best you can be.
When you think of freshman classes that have stuck together here, man, they have turned into be really, really special.
Yeah.
Not so much that in today's day and age where it's always thought about in the moment, but what do you all collectively as this freshman group, this freshman class, what do you enjoy about being around each other, and especially knowing that some of you have really already played a big impact for this team?
You know, this freshman class is amazing. I mean, we all get along really well. I mean, we're always hanging out. We're always in the same dorm, so I mean, it's easy to hang out.
Yeah.
We're always going to get food, hanging out with the older girls. I mean, we just all get along, and we all just have each other's back. Like, we're always supporting each other. Success is everything. Like, whenever anyone ever gets in, we're always cheering, always congratulating them, whether they get a hit, whether they make a play in the field, anything. I mean, we're always just being there and being supportive. So
you need that experience from those who have been here prior and those who have played just more softball than you, Sage. What would you say has been, I don't know if you want to pinpoint one or two teammates, but when you think of the upperclassmen on the team, who has really made an impact for you this year where you've leaned on a lot that now has even more so you go to now that you're playing more?
I mean, all the captains have helped. Everybody has been supportive. Everybody's helping everybody out, telling us how to be a better player, how to be a better teammate especially, and just helping us on the field. When I was playing first base at the beginning of the season, it was Addie. I mean, she's played first base. She's a senior. And, I mean, she helped me with whatever I needed, any plays I needed. And then now I'm slowly moving to the outfield. And, I mean, I have Emma Austin now. And they're just all great role models. Emma's just always helping me out. We're helping each other out. We're just always there for each other. But all the captains, Mandy, Key, Emily, Charlie, Malia, like everybody's helping. Everybody helps each other, so.
You talked about Emma being in the outfield. Talk about another personality. I think this team really lacks personalities, Sage. You know, like none of you like to talk. None of you are energetic during games. Like what the heck's going on? I think that needs to be a point of conversation here moving forward.
Oh, yeah. You know, it depends on the game.
Yes, no doubt.
It depends on the game.
It depends on the game for sure. But for someone like Emma, you know, again, someone that is not afraid to use her voice, that has been really a good leader over time here, has been such an impactful player in big-time moments. How has that, you know, what would you, not necessarily just being next to her, but what's an aspect of what she does daily that you see that you've tried to pick up on and integrate in what you do daily?
I mean, just because she's a senior and she has her spot doesn't mean she, like, stops working. I mean, you'll see some players, like, some seniors that are like, oh, I already have my spot. They just stop working. They don't work as hard. But Emma, she works her hardest every single day, and we see it every day. And, I mean, she has class a lot during practices, but she'll come in and get extra work. She just works really, really hard and continues to prove why she should be in center field and why she should be on the field.
It was an area we talked about with Kaytee about, you know, early on the year when you're on the road, that forces all of you, and I say force, but when you're around each other on a bus, on the road, hotel, at a ballpark, whether you're waiting out delays, whatever the case may be, that is a ton of time around one another. What were positives, even though there weren't a lot of wins early for this team, what were ways of just being around one another started to really build that bond, that trust that now is starting to show up in these games?
You know, we're always around each other. We had to get along with each other. Like, there was no room for fights and no room for arguing with each other about little tiny things. We were around each other. This is our team. This is our family. We don't have our own families to have with us. So we're all family, and we have to act like it. So those first few weeks when we're on the road and we don't have anyone in Carbondale, like, and maybe friends not on the softball team and stuff. But, I mean, we just all got along, and we all kept working, and we're all supportive, and we're all just helping each other out. So,
as impressive it is what all of you do on the field, which it is, and those numbers are showing, and right now leading the league in the Missouri Valley Conference. I think it's what all of you do off the field that is also just extremely staggering. What has it been like being a student here, and what have you enjoyed about SIU, the university side, away from softball?
Everybody here is amazing. Like, I haven't met a single person that's just, like, rude or, like, just mean. Everybody's super nice. I mean, we come to the trainer, we get recovered, we do rehab. I do rehab on my arm. I do recovery a lot. It's just amazing. All the facilities. I mean, we got to go to class and stuff. I have a lot of online classes this semester, so it's pretty easy for me. I don't have a lot of classes to go to. So it's all just kind of like time management. Like I said, everybody's supportive. So, I mean, just work through it. So,
where do you all feel you're at in terms of playing your best softball? Like, how much more, how higher is the ceiling for you as a group of what you've done to this point, yet all collectively, how far and how much do you believe you can raise it here down the stretch?
I mean, we're definitely playing at our best that we have all season right now. But, I mean, it's not going to stop there. I mean, we're still going to practice. We're still getting better. We're still getting stronger. So, I mean, I can only expect for us to keep getting better and keep getting better team chemistry and keep working better as a team.
So when you're on a long bus ride like you will be this week when you head out to Northern Iowa, how do you kill the time? What are things that I'm sure homework number one is one of it, but outside of homework, what are things that you like to do on long bus rides with the team?
Definitely homework. Yeah, definitely homework. But I like to nap. I'll nap a lot. It's hard to get comfortable, but, I mean, once you're comfortable, you can sleep for a while. So we do each other's hair sometimes. We scrolling on TikTok.
Big TikTok person.
Yep, big TikTok person. Maybe I'll watch my show, watch a movie, just anything like that, talk to my teammates.
Whatever can pass the time.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of it when you're going from Carbondale, Illinois to Cedar Falls, Iowa, like you will this week.
Yep.
Sage, congrats on all the success this week. I know it's and this year.
Thank you.
But as everyone I know on the team continues to say, there's still more to come with this group this year. Have fun on that bus ride, and we'll definitely continue to watch you throughout the year.
Thank you.
This has been Inside Saluki Athletics, presented by Paulie Eyes of Carbondale. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Saluki Sports Network.